Hello everybody and welcome back to a brand new video. Today I wanted to try something in free-to-play that actually is pretty good money, and that is selling to the Wilderness Bandit store. Now the Wilderness Bandit shop actually will buy things at high alchemy price and is the only shop in free-to-play to buy pretty much any item at that price. Normally you could sell to a weapon shop for a high alchemy price or a shield shop, but this will give you a lot more versatility, with the drawback being that it's in the wilderness. Now this is actually one of the best ways to make money in free-to-play. However, the drawback is that a lot of the items that you need are restricted by their buying limit. So for example, most of the items you're going to be doing are rune items, which only have a limit of 70, and that's also a little bit cost restrictive, so it's going to be kind of expensive to buy a lot of these items. So we're not going to wait around for 4 or 5 hours to buy multiple buying limits worth of items. We're just going to go through a bunch of different items, buy the maximum amount we can, and see how much money we make from that. We're going to do one set of this and see how long it takes. If you wanted to prepare more for this, you could spend a day or two buying a ton of rune battle axes, for example, or rune plate bodies, adamant plate bodies, stuff like that. But anyway, let's get started. So first up here, we need to find some items. Now it's pretty simple to find. Really, most runite items have a good margin. I'm on G-Tracker, which is a sponsor of mine. They do have a high alchemy section, which you can filter to just free-to-play items. And we're going to be looking down here for the most ideal items to do. You can see a lot of them are runite items. So we have the rune two-hander with a 300 GP margin, which is actually going to be more. I tried to set the nature rune price lower, but it didn't work. So this will be closer to 500 per time you sell it to the shop. Rune pickaxe will also be about 500 GP. Rune plate legs, adamant plate bodies are good. But you can see, yeah, mostly runite items. Now, one item that really stuck out to me is the diamond ring. It actually has a, well, it'll be about 300 GP margin, but it has a limit of 10,000, which means you're never going to hit that. Right now, we can buy them for around 1886 and sell them to the shop for 2,115. You might be able to sell 2 at a time as well. That is a much better investment for money than the runite items, so we're going to go ahead and buy a lot of those. Okay, so now we're just going to quickly go ahead and put in some offers. Let's check the diamond ring first, because that one will probably be our staple. We're going to buy a lot of this item. We'll actually do a price check on this item, as we're going to be buying a lot of this one. And yeah, we got it for 1812, and we could instantly buy it for 1842. We're going to go ahead and try to instantly buy some. Let's try for 500 of them. Okay, well, let's leave that in there for now. We're just going to leave this at the default here. We'll go for maybe 50 rune two-handers. Instantly bought. Okay, perfect. We'll go for adamant plate bodies. Adamant plate bodies we want to buy for pretty much around this price too. We're going to go for the maximum buying quantity, which is 125. We'll go for the rune axe, as it's a bit of a cheaper item and still has a pretty decent margin. Rune axe we can put down a little bit cheaper, hopefully, for around we'll do 72.50. Only has a limit of 40, so we'll just leave that in there for a little while. We can do the green dragonite body. We could do really any part of the set, most likely. And we'll put it in for this price and do all 125 of this item as well. We'll go for the runite pickaxe at around 18.8. We're just kind of leaving it in for the default price. We might auto buy some of this. That's fine. We'll go for green dragonite chaps as well. Do the full buying limit at 125. Any of these cheaper items are much more ideal than like the rune two-hander, for example. We'll go for the rune sword, which we can do 70 of. We'll do the rune med helm, again, one of the cheaper rune items. We will do the mithril plate body, only around 2.8k, so not too much of an investment. And that is pretty much our grand exchange full. We'll wait for these to come through, put in a few more offers to spend the rest of our money, and then we'll head to the wilderness shop. So we went ahead and collected all of the items. We spent pretty much all 10 mil. Now, if you were a reasonably smart person, you probably wouldn't do this all in one go, but we're just going to risk it for the video. Why not? We got 10 mil, 100k. Now, we have around 15 different items. You do want a little bit of room for a teleport, as well as some food. Now, the likelihood of you dying here is not that high. However, just to be aware, Teleblock is now free to play, so there is a chance that you won't be able to teleport out, which means you will want some food to tank. Now, do you need 10 mil to do this method? You definitely don't. Now, there's just a few items here that make up the bulk of the cost, like the rune two-handers, that's 2 mil right there. The rune longsword, rune sword, that's already nearly half of the money. If you only have maybe 1 or 2 mil, I would stick to some of these cheaper items like steel chain bodies, diamond rings even, mithril plate bodies, stuff like that. You'll be much better off in just making slightly less money per hour. But if you do have the money, I would recommend going ahead and doing some of the runite items. Okay, so we got our inventory set up with a teleport out. We're just doing a Varrock teleport. Some swordfish just for healing. Now, as far as equipment, I'm wearing a green d'hide, a amulet of defense, and a coif. We're not even bringing a weapon because our goal would just be to run away. Alright, so now we're going to head out to the Wilderness Bandit shop. It's pretty easy to access, so not that far away from Edgeville. From Edgeville, you just need to run a little bit to the north and then to the west, and that's it right here. This is the shop specifically, the general store. Now, when I checked there last, there wasn't a lot of people doing this, as it is a higher risk method, so it's not actually that packed compared to some other shop methods. Now, I do believe this area is in multi, so you do want to be careful. And these things can do a bit of damage to you, so if you have protection prayers, I would chuck them on just to get through here. Once you're in the shop, you're pretty much safe, although occasionally there will be a bandit in there, which is kind of annoying. So just close the door and you'll see No Terrazzo. Trade him, and you'll see he has pretty much an empty shop here. So on pretty much all of these items, I'm just going to sell one per world, as I only have 125 maximum per item, except for the diamond ring, which I may end up selling more. So it buys diamond rings for 2,115, and we bought them for 1,843. So if we sell one, value check it again, 2009, check it again, so we can sell about 2, and everything else we can sell 1. Now this is a lot easier to do on mobile because you don't have to like right click sell 1. It's a lot easier to make a mistake on your PC, but I don't really feel like doing this on mobile, so I'm going to be doing it the old fashioned way. And once you've sold one of every item to the shop, just go ahead and hop to another world. Now another reason this method isn't too crowded is you're only selling one item per world, so that disappears very quickly, so you don't really have to worry about other people taking up shop room or anything like that, because it disappears after a few seconds. Alright, so we're just going to go ahead, keep doing this for however long it takes to sell off most of the items. Now we have a lot of diamond rings left, so we may end up just selling those back to the Grand Exchange, but yeah, we'll see in a bit. So I was very close to making it the entire time without banking, but I noticed there's actually quite a few free-to-play PKers at this location. Luckily they were pretty slow, so I was able to just keep hopping worlds, but I got a little scared because I had about 9.3 mil on me, so I went ahead and banked it. But there we go, we sold off pretty much all of our items. We do have quite a few of the diamond rings left. I will probably just end up selling them back to the Grand Exchange because it's not really time efficient to sell only one item per world. So it went pretty smoothly. I think we're looking to make around 400k from these items, more or less, and it only took me around half an hour. And while the buying limits are very low, so is the amount you're selling per world, so I was actually able to do this for half an hour without having to wait around to buy any of my items for an extended period of time, and I only bought one buying limit of all of these items, so we really didn't have to plan ahead at all. Alright, so we went back to the Grand Exchange, and we have 9,979k plus a bunch of diamond rings left. When I originally bought them, I thought we could sell 3 per world, but we can only do 2, so we'll go ahead and just sell them for, well, 2039, why not? So that should leave us with a solid amount of profit. So we'll go ahead and wait a few minutes and hopefully these will sell off. Okay, I just decided to instantly sell it as we're not really losing that much money here. We got 497k, let's claim it. Bring us up to 10,477k, meaning we made almost 500k in profit selling to the Wilderness Bandit store. It took me around 10 minutes to find all of the items, another 20 minutes to buy most of them, although I did wait a little bit longer, and then another half an hour to sell it to the store. So in total, around 1 hour of prep time, which really isn't that bad. And considering this is free to play, that is really excellent. Now again, 10 mil is really not necessary. If you stuck to items like, for example, if you stuck to an item like the steel plate body, doing the full buying limit will only cost you around 100k. And if you find another 10 items like that, that's only going to mean around 1.5 mil invested, which is a lot more reasonable for free to play. Just cutting out the runite items will make it so you can really only invest 1 or 2 mil into this method and hopefully get around maybe 300 to 400k back at that point, but that is probably a little bit more realistic. Now you can also do this in members worlds, and while the profit will be a lot higher, the risk is much higher, not only because your items will be generally more expensive, but because the killing potential of PKers is also going to be much higher. I was only successfully attacked once, and that was really easy to run away in free-to-play. I just ran a little bit to the south and teleported out. And while there is teleblock in free-to-play, it is an extremely high-level spell that most people in free-to-play will not have. So it's not super likely you get teleblocked, and the damage potential in free-to-play is a lot less, so it's pretty easy to run away. However, on the members world, it's in multi, a lot of damage potential, so I would probably not recommend doing it, but making nearly 500k in an hour in free-to-play is definitely the best I have ever done and probably one of the best methods possible. It obviously does come with a bit of a risk, but by far more than worth it when you consider the other options for free-to-play money making, and even when you compare it to other wilderness money makers like Wines of Zamorak, it still is way better. Anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, don't forget to leave the video a like, I always appreciate it. If you have any other suggestions for interesting money makers or interesting challenges for 1 hour, leave a comment down below. I always appreciate it, and I will see you next time.